few more things about creating the uh, icons, ornaments, whatever for this project, the more complex shapes, if you will. As Doug mentioned, you can start with simple shapes. I'm going to go ahead and come out here with a circle. I'm going to draw it from the inside out by holding down the Option key and make it a perfect circle by holding down the Shift key. That gives me this circle that's got a red fill and no stroke on it right now. And Doug mentioned that you can copy these things and paste them. Let me show you where that is. If you go under Edit, you can find Cut, Copy, and Paste. Command X, Command C for copy, and Command V for paste. These are really handy. What happens when you cut or copy something? It goes to an invisible pasteboard that can only hold one thing at a time. If I copy this circle and later on I go and copy another shape, that will replace the circle. They can't both remain there at the same time. So whatever I copy that one time, that goes to the clipboard is what it's actually called. Um, and that happens if I cut as well. The difference is obviously if I copy something, it remains there in my workspace as opposed to cut, which removes it and puts it on the clipboard. But you can only have that one thing on there at a time. If you just do a paste, so let me copy this, Command C is what I would do, but I just want to show you Command C, it's copied, and then I do a Command V, it will paste it. It pastes it in the middle of my window, wherever I am. For instance, if I zoom in and do a Command V, it will paste it still in the middle of my window. So what Command V is just paste it out there, right in the middle of the workspace or the window that you're looking at that time. I'm going to Command Z from that and zoom back a little bit and show you the other options you have, which are under Edit, and you have Paste in Front or Paste in Back of that same thing of where I copied it or I cut it, I can paste it in the same exact spot. And this would work even from document to document. If I had another document that was open, 11 by 17 document, and I copied this circle from this document, opened up my other 11 by 17 and did a paste in front, it would place it in that exact same spot on that document. So that's really handy to put something right in the same spot. Let me show you another trick though that I really like to use. It's because it's faster and I think it's easier in many ways as well. If I select this circle and then I just hold down the Option key, you'll see the cursor change to something that looks like a double cursor. And then as I drag this thing, let me do this, I am cloning it. Basically, all I did was click on it, hold down the Option key and drag, and that made an exact clone of it in exactly the same place. It's in essence like a copy and then paste in front type of thing, but it's reduced now to just one simple keyboard command. I'm going to get rid of that and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do it and hold down the Shift key as well when I drag that. And then what I'm doing, let me get it. There we go. Sometimes it doesn't work. There you go. And so now it's constrained in that place to create the. So, you've got the opportunity to use the clipboard to cut and paste things and put them back into the workspace. Or you can do something really simple, which is holding down the Option key and dragging, and that will make a clone of that thing. I wanted to show you a couple other things as well. Let me get rid of this one, and I'm going to reduce the size of this one. And then I'm going to zoom in here like this. And maybe I will create, I'm going to use actually my pen tool here. and create a little kind of shape like that. Let's now shift that so that it's a line. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to use the eyedropper tool, which samples whatever I click on and will apply it to that line, which is a white fill. So I will now swipe that, and I've got this nice little kind of shape here. I'm going to try to create a little flower-like shape here. Now this is a open path. If we go and Command Y, we can look at this in outline view, and I'm going to actually hide my guides for right now so that they don't kind of distract us in that way. But you can see that this is a closed path, meaning that it has a start and an end. It's not like a circle, which is continuous, or a square, or a rectangle, triangle, something like that, where the ends meet in that sense. What I'm going to do with this, I'm going to go back to Command Y. I'm going to select this thing, and you'll see when you go over to your properties that you have the opportunity to change how wide the stroke is here, right? That's always measured in points. I actually kind of like how wide that stroke is right now, but I need it to be a shape, not a stroke. So the way to do that is to go up under Object and go down to Path, and I'm going to outline that stroke. By doing that, now let's take a Command Y, look at it, and you can see that now this is a kind of a spaghetti noodle-like shape rather than just a single stroke. And I know that I can use that with my Pathfinder palette to select those two things and subtract the front from the back, like that. And now this is my shape, right? Well, that's really handy. Now I'm going to come back over here and turn my guides back on, because what I want to do is I want to take that flower shape, and maybe I'll kind of squish it in a little bit, make it maybe a little bit more rosebud-ish in that sense. I'm going to take that flower shape. Maybe I'll add another stroke to it where I will go and click and drag and then drag. Again, this has got a fill but not a stroke on it, so if I click on these, that will flop those like that. And I can go into properties and change that width a little bit. And maybe if I want to, I can go and make it a different color, maybe a green color as well. And I'm going to put it behind the red so it doesn't show. Now I've got a little abstract rosebud with a stem here. I'm going to select both of those things, and let's go ahead and rotate them around this spot. Remember, put your cursor where you want it to rotate from. Right now, it would rotate from what is the center of these two objects. I want it to rotate from this point. So I'm going to put my cursor there, hold down Option, and click. I'm going to type in 360 divided by, let's do it by 8. Let's preview, let's see what that does. And we'll do a copy, and then Command D for duplication. And now I've got my roses going around in a circle like that. Maybe I want to add a little star tool here. I'm going to go ahead and put in a star. Maybe not with that thick a stroke on it. Let's just take the stroke off altogether and make it a fill. And that I will also rotate around, holding down the Option key, clicking where I want it to rotate from. 360 divided by 8 again, copy, Command D. And so you can see how you can create some other interesting things that go along with that. Let's go ahead and I'm going to select over these strokes here. Everything else out here is shape, not stroke. So I'm going to select these strokes and go under Object, Path, and I'm going to go to Outline Stroke on those, and then I'm going to unite them. So now what that looks like as I go to Command Y, it looks like this. I'll hide my layers for a second so you can see what that looks like. Right. So let's come back. I'm going to go Command minus sign to reduce this a little bit, or zoom back. And let me select all these things. And I'm going to change the scale by clicking, and I'm going to hold down Option and Shift so that it does it from the center and make it fit inside that space. Command Y so I can see what it actually looks like. And so now I'm creating this pretty bizarre looking row. I think I need probably put some leaves and things on there too as well. Anyway, so keep in mind when you copy or cut, Command C, Command X, really important keyboard commands. When you do that, it puts it on an invisible clipboard. And then that stays on that clipboard till you copy or cut something else. So that thing will always be there. I could continue. I could select this, for instance, and I'm going to cut it. Oops, it's under Edit. Cut it. So it now on the clipboard, I can Command V, there it is. Command V, there it is. Hoop, there. Anyway, I won't sing for you. But you get the idea that it's going to be there until I take something, for instance, like this, copy that, and put it on the pasteboard. Now that's the thing that's there, right? Or if I did a Command F, it will paste it right back in front of that, or Command B would paste it behind that thing that where it was that I copied it. So those are really handy. The other thing you could do is you could also click on it, hold down Option and Shift and drag and make a clone as easily as that. Oh, one more thing. I was going to actually turn this recording off, but Doug did mention putting type down there about having it to be simple, medium, and complex or something like that. Go ahead and use your type tool to do that. We're going to get more into type soon, but for the time being, basically, if you click on this, where you get the little I-beam, typically the type is by default will start from the left and go to the right. So if you click, you can just type in simple, right? And I could even take that type, click on it, hold down the Option key, and drag, and then double click on this, medium, right? Complex. If you want to play around with the type fonts and things like that, you can find that under Command T, or also under Properties. You'll have some of that information will show up here. So you can play around with what font you're using and stuff like that. Keep in mind, our purpose here is to create these ornaments or icons. That's what we're looking for success in, not what font you use here. This is just merely descriptive information here to help us see how your process is.